And it's getting deep out here, dude. We got Mexicans talking about they want reparations, which it ain't really reparations. They just really want more money for being moved off of their land for the Dodger Stadium. But notice how they remixing the sauce, though. Notice how they using the lingo. But what you didn't notice is they ain't say nothing about black. So all y'all black and brown, they didn't mention you one time. We'll be right back on the Keep It P podcast. Cash app, selling chime. Hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm talking Payoneer, net spend, Venmo, stash. Too many ways for you to run my cash. Check reparations, 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 check. Yeah, well, if you talking compensation, it's about that time. Hey man, we're back, and I can only say it one way. It's like the Mexicans want reparations for themselves and nobody else. They ain't mentioned you. They didn't say, "Oh, you know what? What we want is similar to what black people is fighting for right now that they actually owe." They ain't mentioned say you one time. Listen. I'm a very good orator, but there's somebody I want you guys to meet. His name is Professor Black Truth, and he summed it up like real great. But before I get to that, I want to show you this. Notice who they got. Notice who they got explaining it. They had to go get Jasper. Not listen to this, man.
Chavez Ravine has been home to the LA Dodgers for 62 seasons, but before that, it was home to many families forced to move by eminent domain. Note 5 legislation introduced today to compensate the people who were displaced. Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan has details on Assembly Bill 1950.
And look how it's Assembly Bill 1950 already. But we don't get into that because I got some words from the professor for you. Hold on.
Dodger Stadium in Elysian Park, for decades offering fans incredible vistas of Chavez Ravine, the shallow canyon just north of the ballpark, although it wasn't always called Chavez Ravine. And if it were up to this group, that name would cease to exist.
This is the first step of bringing justice to the people of Palo Verde, La Loma, and Bishop, wrongfully known as Chavez Ravine.
Melissa Arechiga's family lived there. She's now the co-founder of an organization known as Buried Under the Blue.
Our communities grew our own produce. We raised our own meats. We were self-sustainable before self-sustainable became hip.
But the residents of Palo Verde, La Loma, and Bishop were all evicted, getting this letter from the city in July of 1950, forced out for what was supposed to be a public housing development. But that never happened. The land was eventually sold to the Dodgers, a decision approved by voters. Dodger Stadium opening in 1962. Now, more than 60 years later, Assembly Bill 1950 would attempt to right many of those perceived wrongs.
Today marks the start of the journey to correct the injustices that were done to the people of Palo Verde, La Loma, and Bishop.
We must acknowledge the wrongs, and we must make them right.
Assemblywoman Wendy Carrillo is a sponsor of the bill, which, in addition to building 3 community centers and a monument, would authorize reparations for those forced out of their homes.
What? Now, notice when they say reparations, y'all didn't see all the pinatas. You didn't see they didn't showed you every man. Soon as they talk about the money, soon as the money come out, reparations, who they got sitting there, right there. Man, look, I'm gonna let it go though, because I want y'all to see this point that I'm gonna tie this all in. But hold on.
By proposing various forms of compensation, including offering city-owned.
And let me say this too. The news is complicit in that. They put together this reel with the B-roll that they didn't suggest. It's the news that's complicit with that one. They on code with them in using us as a tool to get ahead. Look at that, man.
Real estate comparable to the original Chavez Ravine landowners and providing fair market value compensation adjusted for inflation.
We must hold.
So y'all want to get paid twice? Because this is not what they telling y'all. Eminent domain means that they paid the people to relocate them, to use the land like they wanted it. So they were already paid. They were already compensated. So y'all trying to say y'all want to be paid again? I can't explain it that good. I can do it, but I want to introduce y'all to somebody, man. Introducing Professor Black Truth, right? I queued it up. I'm not gonna play all this man's content. The links are in the description. Go subscribe now. He does what's called the moment of truth on a daily basis. And like the Sunday is the Sunday address. I have to stay informed. This is the professor. But I took this one little part because I can't say it no better than this. Just listen, nah. Put your ears on. Hold on.
Fine. Not to put too fine a point on it, but what this woman Carrillo's talking about, this is not a reparations claim, it's a real estate dispute. They're using the word reparations because everyone wants to piggyback off the momentum of our fight for true reparations. But what's happening here, if you try to make a comparison, that's where you're going to get maximum pushback from me. No, this is opportunism, plain and simple, compared to what it is that we're demanding. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no comparison. Also, when you have these migrants from Mexico or anywhere else who chose to come to the United States, especially in the 1950s, what, they didn't hear about the lynchings? Oh, that's right, that was happening only to black people. But what, they didn't hear about all of the racism going on in the U.S. in the 1950s? Of course they heard about it. Of course they knew. They knew exactly how racist the United States is, and they still kept coming anyway. You want to know why? That was up until about the late 1960s, Hispanics were officially classified as white.
Uh-oh. Did you know that? Uh-oh. Did you know that? Why you got I hear brothers and sisters all the time. Yeah, black and brown, black and brown. They don't never. Have you ever heard brown and black? I'll wait. I'll give you a few minutes. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard brown and black? Nope, you ain't. So every time you say it, you sound like a goofy. There's a little bit more.
They only lost their white designation with President Nixon because too many brown-skinned people came into the U.S., and of course these white supremacists here, they would go ahead and play along with the game for a little while, but when they start seeing too many folks show up, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to have to go ahead and draw the line somewhere, which they did. And by the way, you have a lot of those folks still trying to get their white designation back. On driver's licenses, many, if not most, identify as white. Same thing with job applications, school applications, whole 9 yards. There are a lot who try to live their entire lives identifying as white, regardless of the fact that the dominant society says, no, you ain't white. So this Carrillo woman and the others who are supporting her, you notice how it is that they're doing this and nobody is paying any sort of tribute or respect to what black people are doing.
Did you notice that? They got this whole news story. They bring out your boy first to kick it off, show the black man first, show you all type of pinatas and cervezas and everything. Everything's Mexican right up until they talk about the money. Soon as the money come out, you see a picture of old Willie and James right there. probably talking to a white man because it didn't even look like he was talking to a Mexican dude. So I don't even know how that picture was relevant news story. But there's a few more episodes, but I want y'all to go to his channel. Hold on. I want to let the point finish.
She does not link this in any way to what it is that black Americans are doing out there in California, even though it was the movement that black people started out there and nationwide, shout out to Brother Tariq, that made it where she's looking and going, well, I think I see a space for us on this. You did not see her saying, hey, reparations for black Los Angelenos, for black Californians, it's an idea whose time has come. She gave no support to that. As far as she's concerned, hey, I'll go ahead and use what they're doing to see if I can benefit myself, but I'm not even going to say a thank you to them. And that's the reason for this evening's address. Ms. Carrillo and her friends, they're demanding more money from the Dodgers Stadium land sale, and they're staying on code about it.
And that brings me to my point. My point is code, man. You can't be scared to speak up for your group, man. And just your group. You can't be scared to do that. Let me see. Oh, we got everybody in here. My bad. I ain't even see you over there. Y'all, Abdul, man, I love you too, bro. I do this out of the love, brother. I love this. I love doing what I do. So I appreciate you, sir. They always find it. He said they always find it, Toby. Oh, Just Moon in here too. What up, Just Moon? Alphonse, what's going on? We Bay, hey, we up in here. Listen, not only this, check this out though. This is my point. When is the black and brown gonna stop? That don't mean create enemies. That just means stop trying to bring everybody aboard with what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's far time. It's nothing wrong with being selfish. Sometimes you gotta be a little selfish, man. Sometimes, dude. Sometimes you gotta take some time for yourself and get yourself together. And when I say self, I mean us. We are self. We are each other. We all we got. As y'all see, we don't have any friends. When you speak about Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, we do not have any friends. Everybody's ready to jump and pounce on us at any time we slip. So that's how we so dope. That's why we're so dope. Because we always got to stay on toes. We always got to stay on guard. We always got to keep the guard up. Keep looking, the proverbial look behind, keep you looking behind your shoulders. Mine's always playing tricks on you. Like for real, like your public enemy number one, like enemy of the state, like that's us. Like, and people are like, you get victim mentality. No, I have a logical mentality. Like it's one thing. That's the problem is they throw out so many distractions so that you forget what kind of threats you face and what's going on. Man, listen, y'all need to support and be a part of this new black media. New black media needs to be shared to everybody. You know, people are going to get it sooner or later, whether they want to or not. It's getting really tight out here. So let them keep playing. They're going to have to figure it out while we move forward strategically and not disseminate this information. So look at here. This is it. They got them people out there talking about they want reparations. They're not mentioning us in the reparations. They want what they want. And they've been paid already. How many of y'all knew that they used to claim white and still try to claim white? Did y'all know that? So I don't want to hear no more of that black and brown talk. I'm not going to code you, but I'm a moja, foja, scoja about being on code. And you know, I got 4 words for you, pimp juice. Let me get this over here real quick. I need you to go ahead and subscribe for the vibes, like for the spike, comment, your vomit, share if you care about getting black empowerment everywhere, and do it on the platforms that we own, Jones. And just to bring it on home, I got That'd be love, peace, blessing. Let me look you in the eye, dog, because I'm live this morning. B. Oh, shout out to Von Savage Couture. Yes, I'm rocking the Von Savage Couture. Shout out Von Savage Couture. You know what I'm saying? Looking kind of strong in there too. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Love, peace, blessings, and aloha. I'm out doha for sure. How you war.